New rules, new horizons, reshaping finance for sustainability. That is the headline title for a high-level symposium that we in the United Nations Environment Programme have been delighted to co-organize with AXA. As we look towards Paris in December and the attempts once again of the international community to reach an agreement on how to address climate change, we must also ask the question of how the financial resources and the financial system can be aligned with the objectives of moving towards a low-carbon economy. Indeed, in the United Nations Environment Programme, we have for quite a number of years been studying and examining the transition towards a green economy, an economy that is more aligned with the objectives and principles underpinning sustainable development. The year 2015 is a momentous year, not only in terms of a new development agenda that will be adopted at the United Nations General Assembly in New York this September, but also because of the announcements that are now preceding the climate COP this December. We know that we must respond on a scale as never before. Our ability to invest in new technologies, in resource efficiency, and also in transforming our energy transport systems, our built-up infrastructure, essentially all aspects of our modern 21st century economy will require enormous investments. These investments are not only needed in terms of moving towards a low-carbon and more resource-efficient economy, they're also needed to provide access to energy, for example, to the 700 million people on the African continent who do not even yet have access to electricity in the year 2015. It is an enormous task, but it is a task that governments alone will not be able to accomplish. And that is why we in UNEP have initiated the inquiry into the design of sustainable financial systems in order to examine both best practice and emerging innovations across the world that demonstrate that aligning financial and capital markets, our financial system, with the objectives of sustainable development is no longer just a hypothesis or a theory. It is already happening, and it is happening both in response to the emerging needs for a different kind of economy in the future, but also to the opportunities. And it is in this domain of need and imperative to act and opportunity to respond that we see the greatest potential for aligning financial systems with the objectives of sustainable development. Our jointly hosted high-level symposium in Paris is therefore both a milestone along the path of discovering where the opportunities lie and where innovations prove that it is possible, but also to give the world confidence that when we take decisions, whether in September on the Sustainable Development Goals or in December on a global response to climate change, that the financial means and resources will over time become available. The markets of tomorrow will without doubt be greener markets. They will be determined both by consumer choices, by public policy, but also by innovations and the willingness of the financial sector to align itself with these objectives. I hope that the outcomes of the Paris seminar will not only be interesting to many, but also inspiring to the vast majority of people who are looking towards the world of finance to be part of the solution.